Hello, welcome back to this channel. And if you're new, welcome. I hope you enjoyed the visit. For this tutorial, I'm going to be doing one of these, and I'm going to focus on this one today. And because it might go long, I might do this one on a different video so you can see how I formed the little heart. Let's go through some of what you might want to use for this project to create your little topiary. I have this kind of greenery, which would be lovely when you make it into a little heart. These look like little rose leaves. This one is really good because it's so tiny, and you don't have to do much clipping, even though you can clip a little bit of the greenery off to not make it as thick if you want to. And then of course there's your typical that you can get quite easily. These come in rolls, and I only have this much left because I used a lot in my Victoria house. And this one, you'll need to do quite a bit of trimming to get it down to the size that you might want to use, because this would be way too bushy. And then there's always the old familiar for the pipe cleaner. This is a green that's a little bit too bright, but you can always paint it down. Do a darker green once you've shaped it. It's very easy to shape, obviously. You can also use just plain wire and paint for the stem that will go in your pot. And then whatever it is, you're going to make your heart from this. You're going to paint it green and maybe paint the stem in brown, which would be nice. And you just cut. It's fairly easy to bend. You get these also from the floral department. Then there's the very, very thin wire. For this, you would need to double up because it's way too thin. Because you want to get at least this much thickness in the wire. This is even a different wire. This one is thicker. This is just the greenery, and then we'll go through some of the decorations that you might want to use. I have made from this one, I have made a little heart. Just take some of the nice flexible wire and go through there, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to bring it down here, and I'm going to start twisting it. Just encourage it to go around like that. And now I've created a stem, but I need a little bit more thickness for the stem. Bending it like that and going back in. Really, once you see the finished product, you'll see it's not as difficult as I probably make it sound when I'm doing these. So I'm just creating a little bit of thickness on the stem, and then I'm going to cover it with floral tape. Or it's kind of pretty like that too. Let's cut this off. Now I'm going to take some floral tape, and I'm going to come in here, and maybe I'll cut off a little bit. It's easier to handle. Just twisting it down like that in case you couldn't see it. And I think I may end up painting this brown just for a little bit more interest. And here is the little heart. Just trimming it a little bit so it's not so wild. Like that. And now this is one that I thought I'd show you because it's the simplest one when you have everything ready made. And I'll show you other ones at the end here or along the way. We'll see. I'm sort of creating as I tape. This is it. This is more of an inspirational kind of video than do exactly as you see. Different little possibilities for pots. Your typical little pot. This is in wood, which we can paint. All of these are wood. Now these, I use these a lot. They're great for little holders. When I'm doing flowers, I hold put the little stems in there. This would be a very ornamental kind of pot to hold your little topiary. And here's another kind, and this one. And these all came in a package. There's a couple more shapes that actually came in a package that I use as different options for making vases, depending on how I paint them. And I think for this one, I might choose to go with this round one. So I'm going to be painting it, and because it's wood, it's easy enough to paint with acrylic. I'm going to mix a deep burgundy with a fire red because I didn't quite have the right red I wanted. And of course, your lids, I'm just going to dip one color and go in there and put another color in there. Maybe, okay, how about just using my brush again? That seemed to work. There. My little paint holder, so I don't get my hands all dirty. I will anyway, I can assure you, but let's see if I can just paint without causing too much mess on my fingers. What I think I will do is I will use to hold the wire in for the topiary, like the stem. I'm just going to use some polymer clay, and you can use whatever it is that you have available that can go in there, maybe even some floral foam. And so now I can just leave it here to dry, and it will be quick. Won't take long for that to dry. Well, here's the pot. It is now dry, and I filled it with the Play-Doh, or the Crayola goop that I have, clay. And the bottom, I just tried painting it, but because it's not dry, it doesn't take the paint. But that's okay. The bottom won't be seen anyway. And it's got the nice green top showing that I think is all right. So now I would have to measure out how tall I want this to be, and I think I'm just going to cut about this much. I think that makes sense. And before putting it in there, I'm going to finish off what I want to do, and then dip it in glue, stick it in there, let it dry. That's one way to do that. And this is simply rolled out clay, polymer clay, baked. I don't fully bake it because I want it to still have some elasticity. And then I take a little heart hole punch. I simply punch along. Tiny little hearts. I don't need that many, just to go around the little heart on the topiary. Now it's time to assemble, and I think that I will paint the stem brown once I assemble it, or maybe I should just do it now. So I've got a little brown there. Dip that in there. I've got it painted. I'm going to use it right away, and I'm going to dip into a little bit of glue, a little bit, and it'll be easy to do. I just dipped it into glue, and I'm going to put it into the vase. I'm going to stick it right in the middle. There you go. And because the clay is soft, I can just push it right in there. I don't worry too much about this glue here because it will dry clear. I'm using Aleene's, actually, Aleene's Tacky. That is not any glue would do. It's just to keep it from coming out at a later time. So now that I've got that done, I think that I should glue some of the little hearts. Okay, so it's dried a little bit, And I'm going to attach the little hearts onto the front. You can do it on both sides, doesn't really matter. They're kind of fun to do. And dip into glue and put one here. Don't forget, glue will dry clear. So I'm not worried about what you can see right now. And maybe a little one. Put this in your dollhouse entry. I'm going to clean up some of the glue. Or we're going to be here for a day waiting for it to dry. There you go. Don't need all that in there. Wait for it to dry. And do a little coat of Mod Podge on there. I'm going to add a little bow. Okay, so here's my little bow maker that I devised, and it's just has two different sizes, just a little cork with some nails in it. And I usually we just work on it this way, but because I wanted a better angle so that you could see what I'm doing, I just propped it up like that. Generous amount of ribbon, and silk is the best ribbon that you can work with, and because it shapes to where you want it to shape. It's got to be this way. I'm going to just work it through, and that sort of gives you a free hand. Now some people use a fork. I made a bunch for the club when we were doing bows for some project, forget what it was. And I think it was for a wreath that we were doing. So here comes the tail, like so, and I go underneath again, just for a better little knot, if you will. Okay, come on, it's not that difficult. And now you tie it. Okay, leaving your little tails, and now that it's tied, it's time to come out. Okay, like that. And there's your little bow. And I've made some in red and some in white, and I'm going to apply this one to the little topiary that we made earlier. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on to the bottom of the heart, which is where I think I would like to see the bow, but it's preference. You might want it on the vase. I think that I'm liking it right here. I'm going to use some Mod Podge on here to give it a little boost of sunshine, or a little boost of shine of some sort, but only on the heart. And I'm putting a good dab on it, so when it dries on the little hearts, what I find is that you get a bit of a three-dimensional, it'll pop out a little bit more. And I might go back and add another layer of the Mod Podge on top. That's that. And then later, and put the bow on it. Here it is, all finished, painted up. As you can see, by doing a couple of drops of the Mod Podge on the little hearts, it's given them a little bit more dimension. And here it is on the back. I've added a little white bow, as you saw, and it's all ready to display on your table, or your display. Maybe if you have a store, you can display it on the store for Valentines. There it is on this little lovely cart. The next video we'll be doing will be this one. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That tells me that I should continue making these. And a sneak peek at the next video. If you like, stay tuned. This should be up in a few days as well. Bye for now. Thank you for watching.